Okay, so we talked about hierarchies, we talked about indexes. Let's talk about cross-references. You see some examples on the screen here of the various ways that a cross-reference can be represented. Those things that I called adds before, those are really categorized as cross-references. Those adds plus the underlying blue words are both cross-references or associations. The idea of an association or a cross-reference is it's a point-to-point connection between one item and another item. You're at this item, you're on this item, you're looking at this item, and I want you to be able to get over to this other item. I want to put a point-to-point link. It's an association in the sense that those two items are associated. There's some reason why the two are associated. Even if the reason is as plain as, well, I want you to go to this item even though you're on this item. That's an association. That's a relationship. That's a reason why one item is pointed to by the other. One item has a direct connection to the other item. So cross-references are the third form of access structure that we'll study. And we'll go into detail, by the way, about all of these access structures. And then when we're finished with that, we'll go beyond and we'll start to combine them. Right now, I just want you to understand a very simple concept. On the surface, there's lots and lots of different representations. It's kind of chaos on the surface. You don't really know all the different ways. And in fact, no one knows all the different ways you can represent a cross-reference. New ones are coming out all the time. New ideas are coming out. We could represent cross-references, as you see on the screen here, as a menu. So those quick links, is that really a hierarchy? Not really. That's just a set of relationships. It's a set of associations between the page you're on and the page you might want to go to. The fact that we put them in what I might call a pseudo-hierarchy under the word quick links, and they're represented as a menu, doesn't mean that they're a hierarchy. In fact, it's really underlyingly a set of associations, a set of cross-references, a set of relationships between the page you're on and the page we might like you to go to, or the page that's likely that you want to go to next. Okay, hierarchies are outlines, parent and children. Indexes are alphabetical or numerical sequences, or let's say alphabetical or numerical listings or maps over the information, sometimes based on one of the pieces of information that's included in each item, like the last name, sometimes based, for example, in the case of keywords, sometimes based on third-party words, you might call them, words that don't necessarily occur in the information item that's being indexed. Cross-references are associations or point-to-point connections from item to item. The index indexes items. It indexes a set of items. The hierarchy organizes that set of items into an outline. And finally, sequences, which are collections of items that are in the order that the author of those items would like you to see them. An obvious idea, or an obvious example of a sequence is a wizard on the web, where you have to go to screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, screen 4. That's the right order. That's the way that we want you to perform these steps. Or a procedure that has step 1, then step 2, then step 3, then step 4. So those orderings are orderings based on the logic that the author knows for the order in which you ought to view those items. In all of these cases, the architect's view is that really, I only have these 4 methods of organizing my information. I can put them into an outline. I can index them by some quality they have, either internal quality or external quality. I can create point-to-point relationships between them, and I can create a whole web of those point-to-point relationships. And I can put them in sequences. I can put them in orderings of the sequence in which I want you to consume them. And that's pretty much it. And all of those different surface manifestations are all just combinations or even just simple mappings of one of those 4 methods. So here's my challenge to you from this point forward. Never again look at navigation as a set of widgets. Always look behind the navigation and say, in what way is this revealing, is this viewing, is this presenting, is this rendering an underlying structure in the information? What is the underlying structure? Is it fundamentally a hierarchical structure that's being revealed by this widget? Is it fundamentally an indexical structure? Is it fundamentally a cross-reference or an associational structure? Or is it fundamentally a sequential structure that's being rendered, that's being revealed, that's being shown on the surface by this navigational widget? And so we no longer want to think about the widgets. We want to think about the access structures that underlie those widgets and give us the ability to create whatever widgets we want. What are the access mechanisms? What are the structures that will allow us to make this information accessible to end users as well as to managers of the information. That's the fundamental question. What structures do we need? Do we need an alphabetical index? Do we need do we need a hierarchical structure? Do we need to create point-to-point connections? Do we need to create a sequence of items? What will be the way that will best get people to that information? Question number one. Question number two then is, what in today's changing world of navigational widgets is the best way to represent that underlying structure so that people can access it, they can use it in the best way possible? That's the architect's view. That's the view that we're going to pursue through the rest of this course. The architect's view of structure. There are 4 fundamental structures, and we're going to study each one of those in detail.